Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Global Atheist News Roundup, dateline 13th of July 2024. This week's headlines. All civilians in Gaza City were ordered to leave as the Israeli attack on a Gaza school killed dozens. Gaza medical teams evacuated the Al-Ahli Baptist Hospital after the Israeli army's warning. A Hamas critic was beaten by masked men in Gaza. A key Islamic State commander is reported to have been killed in Afghanistan by the Taliban. The Taliban don't recognize the women on the Afghan Olympic team. A man was convicted of taking a bomb to hospital and planning an attack on the RAF base. The new Labour MP Apsana Begum is a brother of Islamist group founder, and he said the election win was for Gaza. The Vatican excommunicated its former ambassador to the US of A. A toned-down synod document backs female leadership. A religious group goes on trial for murder and manslaughter of Elizabeth Struhs, 8, near Toowoomba, Australia. And Biden says, "Only the Lord Almighty could convince me to quit." Here is the news in detail. Medical teams in Gaza evacuated wounded Palestinians from Al-Ahli Baptist Hospital on Sunday after the Israeli military issued a warning to leave the Al-Daraj, Al-Tufa and Old City neighborhoods of Gaza City. Israeli quadrocopter drones were heavily present around the hospital, firing at civilians and prompting the medical teams to evacuate. Israeli aircraft and artillery targeted areas of Gaza City, injuring dozens of people and displacing thousands of families. On June the 28th, the Israeli army announced the start of a ground offensive in Shejaiya, the third of its kind since the start of the Israel-Hamas war on October the 7th last year. Israel, flouting a UN Security Council resolution demanding an immediate ceasefire, has faced international condemnation amid its continued brutal offensive on Gaza since October the 7th. More than 38,150 Palestinians have since been killed, mostly women and children, and over 87,800 others injured. 9 months into the Israeli war, vast tracts of Gaza lie in ruins amid a crippling blockade of food, clean water and medicine. Israel stands accused of genocide at the International Court of Justice, whose latest ruling ordered it to immediately halt its military operation in the southern city of Rafah, where over 1 million Palestinians had sought refuge from the war before that too was invaded on May the 6th. A Palestinian activist known for organizing anti-Hamas protests in Gaza has been taken to hospital after an attack by a group of masked men. Amin Abed was admitted in critical condition after being kidnapped near his home by 5 assailants on Monday afternoon. A well-known activist, Mr. Abed told the BBC, "I will not stop using my right to express my rejection of the 7th of October attack." Public dissent against Hamas has grown in recent months as residents of Gaza grow angry at the huge toll inflicted on the enclave since the start of the war. Mr. Abed described being kidnapped by his house by a group of 5 men who were armed with guns and machetes. He was taken to a semi-demolished house, beaten, called an agent for Israel, and a traitor. The leader of the group told Mr. Abed's assailants to break his fingers so he could not again write criticism of Hamas or the heroic events of the 7th of October. After a group of passers-by attempted to intervene, the attackers fired shots into the air and told them to stay away, claiming they were from Hamas security forces. Eventually, the assailants left and bystanders were able to take Mr. Abed to a hospital. He is considered a popular figure. Before the war, he had been arrested multiple times for speaking out against Hamas rule. On Monday morning, Mr. Abed wrote a long criticism of Hamas on Facebook, accusing the group of dividing the Palestinian people and quashing their dream of a state. Taliban security forces in Afghanistan claimed on Sunday that they had killed a key Islamic State commander in an eastern province bordering Pakistan. An official Taliban media outlet reported that counter-terrorism forces in Nangarhar had raided a hideout of Islamic State Khorasan, also known as ISK, an Afghan-based affiliate of the transnational extremist group IS. Sunday's action has resulted in the killing of Zakirullah, known as Abu Shur, and identified him as IS Khorasan's military leader for the border province's Archin district. The media report said Taliban special forces had concluded the operation in the Momand Dara district. Reformist Masoud Pezeshkian has been elected as Iran's new president, beating his hardline conservative rival Saeed Jalili. The vote was declared in Dr. Pezeshkian's favour after he secured 53.3% of the more than 30 million votes counted. The runoff came after no candidate secured an overall majority in the first round of the election on the 28th of June, which saw a historically low voter turnout of 40%. The election was called after Iran's previous president, Ebrahim Raisi, was killed in a helicopter crash in May. Dr. Pezeshkian's supporters had taken to the streets in Tehran and a number of cities to celebrate. Videos posted on social media showed mostly young people dancing and waving the signature green flag of his campaign while passing cars sounded their horns. Dr. Pezeshkian, a 71-year-old heart surgeon and member of the Iranian parliament, is critical of Iran's notorious morality police, and he caused a stir after promising unity and cohesion as well as an end to Iran's isolation from the world. The International Olympic Committee has invited a squad of 6 Afghan athletes, 3 women and 3 men, in consultation with Afghanistan's largely exiled National Olympic Committee. Only 3 athletes are representing Afghanistan, said Atal Mashwani, the spokesman of the Taliban government's sports directorate, referring to the male competitors. Currently, in Afghanistan, girls' sports have been stopped. When girls' sport isn't practiced, how can they go on the national team? He said. All 3 of the women and 2 of the male athletes are living outside Afghanistan. The only one training in the country is a judo fighter, whilst his squad mates will feature in athletics and swimming. The women will compete in athletics and cycling. The IOC said it had not consulted Taliban officials about the team and that they were not invited to the Games. Mohammed Farouk was arrested outside the maternity ward of St James's Hospital in Leeds on the 20th of January 2023 after showing a member of the public a gun and saying that he felt like killing everyone. When police arrived, Farouk a former student nurse at the hospital, told officers he had a bomb, and a subsequent search of his bag revealed a pressure cooker with wires attached. Bomb disposal experts attended and confirmed the homemade explosive was a viable device. A Gediz 9mm PAK semi-automatic pistol, discovered to be an imitation, was also found nearby. Farouk's car was located at the hospital, and items including a quantity of nails, a knife, 5 plastic tubs containing low explosive mixture, and a floor plan of 4 hospital wards were found. Following his arrest, key electronic devices revealed significant evidence of Farouk's interest in the ideology of radical Islam and jihad, as well as his activities, including those relating to the manufacture of the explosive device and of his planning of an attack. Online searches of RAF Menwith Hill in North Yorkshire were also made by Farouk, and local data extracted from his phone revealed he was in the vicinity of the base on 2 occasions. He denied his actions were a reconnaissance of the military site and for any terrorist purpose. But prosecutors were able to prove during trial that his interest went beyond internet research, and he was planning an attack. Farouk was found guilty of preparing acts of terrorism by a jury at Sheffield Crown Court recently. Islamists attempted to make the UK general election about religion rather than party politics. See these videos.
1,000 people die every year because of the alcohol. We are sick and tired of democracy, and we are here to provide you an alternative, and that is the Sharia. That is Islam. Oh, people of Britain, take a look around you. Do you not see the corruption? Do you not see the oppression? Look to how your democracy, it failed in the coalition government. Look to how your democracy, it failed when all of you wanted no war in Iraq. Oh, people of Britain, wake up. We as the Muslims have woken up a long time ago, and we are here to tell you that we will never stop struggling. We will never stop calling. We will never stop striving until the black flag of Islam is all over the world.
Deliberately creating humanitarian crisis on top of humanitarian crisis. And not only this, the illegal occupation remains. The forced evictions continue as Israel seizes more and more land. All one, oppression and brutality is the day-to-day reality of Palestinian men, women and children. So we come here again today to stand up for humanity and send a clear message to this incoming government. Not in our name. Not in our name. No more complicity. No more weapons sent to kill and maim. We demand an immediate ceasefire and the restoration of UNRWA funding. Not only this, the ongoing oppression and dispossession of the Palestinian people must end. The illegal settlements program must end. The forced evictions must end. The illegal occupation must end. And yes, there has to be unconditional and immediate recognition of the state of Palestine. This week, I was re-elected by the people of Poplar and Limehouse to be a voice for peace and justice and to stand up for the Palestinian people. Because in East London, we know that none of us are free until all oppressed people all around the world are free. Free! 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 Free!
A newly elected MP who dedicated his victory to the people of Gaza is the brother of the founder of the hardline Islamist group Friends of Al-Aqsa, it can be revealed. Shokat Adam was a surprise winner in Leicester South in last Thursday's general election, where he took the seat from former Labour Shadow Minister Jonathan Ashworth, one of Keir Starmer's most trusted media performers. At the count, where Adams' narrow victory over the former Shadow Paymaster General was confirmed, he was passed a black and white keffiyeh headscarf from somebody in the audience as he gave his victory speech, and he announced in a humble gesture that it had been for the people of Gaza. See this video.
This is for the people of Gaza.
The Vatican has excommunicated its former ambassador to the USA after finding him guilty of schism, or is that schism? An inevitable end for the firebrand conservative who became one of Pope Francis's most ardent critics. The Vatican's Doctrine Office imposed the penalty on Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano after a meeting of its members on Thursday and informed him of its decision on Friday. It cited Vigano's refusal to recognize and submit to the Supreme Pontiff, his rejection of communion with the members of the Church subject to him, and of the legitimacy and magisterial authority of the Second Vatican Council. The Vatican excommunication means that Vigano is formally outside the Church and cannot celebrate or receive its sacraments. The agenda for the next round of the Synod on Synodality, scheduled for the 4th to the 27th of October in Rome, will focus on female leadership and the inclusion of women in the Catholic Church, according to a document released on Tuesday, July the 9th, by the Vatican. The Instrumentum Laboris, or working document, is an initial plan for the second and final stage of the Synod that Pope Francis called in 2021 with the aim of promoting dialogue in the Church and beginning with months of listening at parish and diocesan levels. Among the most mentioned concerns were LGBTQ acceptance, combating sexual abuse, fighting poverty and violence, and women's roles in the Church. The contributions received at all stages highlighted the need to give fuller recognition to the charisms, vocation, and role of women. So a spokesman said. A religious group called the Saints, which has been accused of killing an 8-year-old girl, believed God would heal her diabetes after they withheld life-saving insulin, a judge has been told at the Supreme Court in Brisbane on Wednesday. The group of 6 men and 8 women, including the girl's parents, refused to enter pleas to either murder or manslaughter of Elizabeth Struhs, who died at the family home in Toowoomba, west of Brisbane, on January the 7th, 2023, after her parents and 12 others allegedly withheld her diabetes medication for 6 days. US President Joe Biden has said that only the Lord Almighty could convince him to end his bid for re-election when he sat for a rare primetime interview in an effort to calm Democratic concern over his candidacy. Following this news, Tercia and I will be chatting with an anonymous Nigerian, an ex-Muslim whose life might be at risk if his identity becomes known. You can join in by text. This has been Global Atheist News. Please like, subscribe and share. Thank you for watching.